Okay.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? I'm Jason.
Jason from MobiledgeX,
That's
backed
right.
by DT.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we are here at the DT booth.
We are.
We are at Mobile World Congress 2019.
Yeah.
It's the place to be.
It's fantastic.
It is.
Yeah. What do you think of the booth?
You know, it's super magenta.
Yeah. Is the magenta more magenta than you think the magenta would be?
It's vibrant.
It is vibrant.
It
yeah.
is vibrant.
Have you been in? Yeah. It is.
Okay.
It's one of these like wow.
Yes, it is very wow.
Yeah.
There's lots of green and there's some pink and there's
Well, they were doing things where like they were still painting on Sunday and going around, but it's very nice.
Okay, so you guys have a really cool demo of some of the stuff that you're doing with Niantic in real-time gaming.
Yeah.
So talk to us about you guys' approach to Edge.
Yeah.
This is real. It's happening right now.
Yep.
You're already live.
Yep.
Who is it for, and why should they love it?
Yeah. No. Those are wow. Great questions. I'm one of an amazing mind. So for us, Edge is about exposing all the infrastructure and capabilities in between devices and clouds. So somebody like a Niantic, of course, they have backends on clouds today, and then of course they have applications on devices.
Yes.
Now, when we look at those applications, they tend to be the single-player cartoon-type modes.
Yep.
A lot of the gaming guys are trying to go from this cartoon-type game to something that's augmented reality, mixed reality, right? So where you have a digital character or multiple ones of them that are blended into like the background coming from the camera on the phone.
Yeah.
Right? They're all sitting there and saying, we want to do player versus player, we want to do multiplayer, we want to do more collaborative, more social, bigger scale things, right? So the second you want to go beyond like one person using one phone, playing with one Pokemon and one sort of cartoon in there, the second you actually want to make it a mix of digital and physical, the second you want to make it player versus player, multiplayer, larger sort of scale and everything else like that, we actually know that you need an edge to do that, right? And you actually need the edge working together with the device and working together with the cloud. So the approach we took was we sat down, like in the case of Samsung, we did a native integration on those devices to just make Edge super easy to use for guys like Niantic. Go and put their application on there, and then when that application shows up and the device shows up where there is an Edge, then you're able to create an entirely new gaming experience that's more multi, more social, more collaborative, more big, more mixed reality, and everything else like that. And we think that, in the case of mobile gaming and gaming in general, that's where it moves to sort of that next step and in that. So mobile gaming's an area for us, but in particular that sort of multiplayer AR gaming type experiences in there. Now part of that is, being created by an operator, owned by an operator. Operators are largely in consumer businesses.
They are.
Right?
Yeah.
So the ability to sit around and take a lot of the large mobile games that are doing this allows us to be able to take like 1 billion plus gaming end users and stress test an Edge. And do that now.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's demands for that literally over the next 12 months. Now the good news is that Edge and what's there isn't just for gaming. It can also be used in enterprise, it can be used in industrial use cases. Exactly what's needed for things like multiplayer AR games is what's needed for autonomous vehicles. It's the same back end. So we still have this common portfolio that goes across all these segments and all these cases and everything else, but a lot of what's happening right now is these new consumer experiences.
Now you guys actually here have a demo that's also over at SK Telecom.
That's right.
So tell us about that one.
Oh, so that's another augmented reality demo, except that we have it on the phone and we have it on a headset, and it's actually in enterprise and industrial use cases.
It's an industrial.
So we sat down and said, okay, how do we do like AR-based maintenance? How does somebody sit on a factory line, combine that with sort of all the cameras and everything else? But it's that sort of next extension in there. Yeah.
Okay. So what's ahead for you guys? 2019, I think, is a big year for operators in a lot of ways. What's ahead for MobiledgeX?
Well, so for us, because a lot of what we sort of do two main activities. So one activity you can think of it a bit like being an Airbnb for infrastructure. So we're expanding all the number of operators that we work with because these are like apartment, condo, townhouse homeowners that we want in. We want different cities in. We want a bigger footprint for everybody. So we're pulling all of that up into that type of exchange, sort of, if you will.
It's an AWS it's the cloud model.
Except what we're doing with a lot of the operator space is just the realization that in the virtualized transport we've done in our SDN, our NFVI, like all these initiatives we've been doing, the consequence of that is we can do edge.
Okay.
So we don't have to build yet another edge.
Well, that's nice for them.
But the thing is all these transformations we've been doing, one of the bullet points we've always had is we're going to allow third parties to come in and sort of do here and there. So that's always been the rationale for this. We're just executing on that now and saying, okay, but the thing that's missing is that great developer experience of sort of how this thing is consumed and used, because it's a big complex system for them to do.
Absolutely.
So a big part for us is getting all the other operators on board and aligned, getting them to understand it's not a net new investment, it's not something here, we're going to bring them business, bring them new things and everything else. Another big area for us is then getting more and more of the interesting device makers on board. So we have existing devices we do like in the smartphone space. We also have emerging devices, headsets, cars, drones, robots, we call those emerging devices. So increasing the diversity of devices and the number of devices we support and the like, working more and more on that developer sort of experience overall. And then also making sure that a lot of the sub-suppliers and vendors in the space that sell up into these guys, are actually helping our operators be better suppliers to us. They're helping these sort of new technologies come up. So then we have a lot of activities and playbooks we do down there where it's not about us making money, it's about other people actually going and helping our suppliers, go and do better things. But it's that whole big sort of ecosystem push this year.
So speaking of ecosystem, I think the last time that you and I talked, there was a lot of discussion around, really needing to have a good experience for developers. How are you engaging with the developer community to get them interested in building stuff for Edge?
Well, so part of it is, because at the end of the day, there's somebody who's going to be sitting at a computer, typing in a text editor, creating software that becomes a system that, becomes and goes and does that. Now, we know things where when you go and you say, okay, what operating systems sit on what type of devices based on that. The IoT space is different than the smartphone space and stuff like that. Okay, let's make sure we have SDKs and native extensions of all of that. And one layer up, what languages are they typically writing in? What frameworks are they typically using? Okay, let's have SDKs and all of that. And then another one where if you look at things where a lot of the gaming people are using the Unreal Engine, the Unity Engine, these things, okay, then have SDKs for that. Now, the way that, so we did a part of our architecture where we have the ability to go and define that we want to support a library for this language or a library for this operating system or a library for that, but we ourselves don't code those. So we basically are able to design them, and we have an automated system to create hundreds of SDKs out the other end. And so we're just sitting there and saying, okay, all that's going to go, so because what we want is we want somebody who, say, if they're sitting there working in Unity, to sit there and say, okay, here's my Unity environment, here's my API documentation. If Edge, then I get these other things, and then sort of have it go. So if we can start getting to the point where, but that's sort of the idea. I mean, and then the thing we're doing next month we're talking about is we're open sourcing all this stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So because our business model at the end of the day is to have like a SaaS offering.
Yeah.
And to be like this type of exchange. Towards developers and device makers and the like. All the underlying software for all of that, we're all putting out there. We're making it completely unencumbered and the like, so that people can use it for a whole bunch of things, stick it everywhere, get part of the system and the like, and let us help them connect supply and demand and make money.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. And how are you? How's everything?
Everything's good. It's a good show. Good show.
That's
Glad
great.
to be here.
Well, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Have a good one, Jason.
You too. Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.